So today's Porsche GT3 is about to have a complete Bose overhaul. We're going to be removing the full sound system on the vehicle, replacing it with our very own. This client is actually a returning client of ours, and he has horrible rattles coming from all across the vehicle, and he is incredibly disappointed with the Bose sound system. So it is time for our team to take over and make this car the Cambridge Car Audio Experience.
Right, thanks Ardal. We're going to be starting this GT3 project by just going over and checking the entire car over. To do this, we're going to be doing an inspection video over the entire vehicle, interior and exterior, checking all of the electronics and the sound system to know what we have to start with. We've also done a battery test, just so that we can make sure the entire car is nice and healthy. This car is going to be having a three-way front end with a coaxial rears, and the customer doesn't want a subwoofer on this one. So we're going to be chucking in 8-inch Primas into the doors. This is going to be trying to get as much bass in as possible without having that sub. Apart from that, we'll just get going and start stripping that car. Hi there. As you can see, we've fully stripped the car down to its bones, and now we need to get started with the sound deadening. We've got a very special request by the customer. His problem with this car is the road noise. So we're going to be focusing on different areas than we normally would be. There's a couple of different problems that he's already pointed out to us though. So there's potential loose bolts in the dash area that we're going to be dealing with as we go. And these B-pillars tend to rattle a lot as well, based on online forums that he's read, and he wants to cover that now as well. But because we're going to be focused on road noise especially, we're going to be covering the doors, the floors and rear seats in areas like this, and rear quarters, because these are going to be the bits where the wheels and everything are going to be transferring that road noise from the wheels and everything to the actual vehicle interior. We also want to be trying to cover that engine noise as well, because it's just transferring too much for him. He doesn't like too much of it, so we're going to be trying to reduce that for him as well. Depending on how much we use and where we go, at the moment we've only got 65 sheets assigned to this job, but we will talk with the customer as we go, and based on what goes where and how much we do and how good it sounds, we might end up going on to places like the roof and adding a couple more sheets of sound deadening with him. But obviously we'll talk through that with the customer and make sure he wants exactly the amount that he wants. We also have things like wiring and everything that we can start doing now, because we've got the car completely stripped, and Simon will be starting on speaker adaptions with the 3D printer, because we've got them all off and we know what we've got and we know what we need to order and get in. He can now adapt the speakers that are in the car to fit what we're going to be putting in. Then there's also the amplifier in the front right footwell underneath the seat. That is an original Bose amplifier, and we are going to then be transferring that into optical. So we'll be removing that, placing our amplifier in, and using an optical transfer box to get the signal from the car to our amplifier. But without further ado, let's get started. So we're part of the way through the sound deadening, but I'm going to pause there for now and leave Simon to continue with that. I'm going to focus on the actual amp mount and location, and how we're going to get our feeds and everything for our system. So in the original one, it has this Bose amplifier down below the seat, which has it has power and all of the outputs to the actual speakers, and then it has an optical line that's actually bringing in all the feeds from the head unit and everything. This is very useful because now we can remove this amplifier and replace it with an optical module, which is going to transfer the optical from the car to a usable optical for us, which we're then going to transfer into our 12-channel Forza amplifier. This is going to be nice and easy, because we can then just replace this amplifier with our own stuff, meaning that we have all the space and everything to actually just put everything down under the seat. So I'm just going to get on and build a nice wooden platform to sit under here, get it stuck down so it's nice and mounted, and then we can get our amplifier in there and sort wiring and everything for it. But yeah, apart from that, we'll get into the woodroom and get started. said before, the customer is not necessarily focused on sound deadening for vibration reduction. He's more focused on it for road noise reduction. This isn't going to be achieved by filling the doors with sound deadening. However, when it comes to door cards and things like that, which we're moving on to now, we need to be putting some on there, as we're going to be putting an 8-inch driver in here and trying to put a lot of bass through it, as we don't have a subwoofer. We need to be putting some sound deadening on here to just stop any vibrations coming through here. We're going to be doing the inner skin. We've already done the outer skin, and we're also going to be doing the door card here, and we're going to be covering most of the flat, large areas and covering about 70% of those. We're not going to be worrying about trying to get in all the nooks and crannies and do all that. It's just not worth it. We're not going to be achieving what the customer wants. We're also going to be just tightening up every screw on the door as well. This has a lot of plastic riv nuts, sort of plastic welds on here, but there is a lot of screws on here as well. These can come loose with time, and this is car's a few years old, so we just need to be going through tightening everything up. We have only got a little ratchet. We don't want to be absolutely hammering these screws in, as it's metal into plastic, but we just want to be making sure they're nice and tight, and then marking them up with a pen just to know that we've covered them. But with that, we'll go through, check all the screws, and get sound deadening. So we're now done with the sound deadening. We had the Porsche up on the ramp and completely stripped the wheels off, which need a very specific torque setting to actually put them back on. So we've made sure we've done that absolutely correctly. We managed to get a little bit in the wheel arches, and anything spare we've done on the inside wheel arch. So we're completely trying to get rid of all that road noise, and we've completely filled the inside of the car now. But moving on to actual speaker mountings, this is a bit of a weird one because we've got 8 inches in the doors. We're looking at the 8-inch Primas. We're going to be trying to get as much bass out of this system without actually having a sub, so these are our best option. And then for clarity, we're going for the Voces. For the mids, these are going to be mounted right next to the woofers in the doors. And then in the dash, we're going to be having the Voce tweeters. This gives us a nice clear high end, and then a nice bassy low end, in theory. As you can see, I've already mounted them. We've got the custom 3D adapters on these ones. We've got the plugs coming out the top and the water skins to try and stop as much water from getting on them and direct that air going out of the door instead of bouncing around on the inside. Same as the mids, they've got the custom adapter. We don't have the water skins, obviously, but they are custom mounted into the original locations as well. Got the wire out here waiting for when we get into the car. We can sort all that wiring out and make sure we have the right length. Moving on to the rears, we have the two-way system in the rear end. We've gone for the Voces again, just to give a nice clear rear end behind the seats. We've got the mids and tweets in the Voces, and we've mounted them in the original locations. They're nicely hidden behind the original grills, and they've also got a very similar adaptation on them as well for the mids, and the tweeters we've just had to Dremel away and sort of slot them into the original slots. There's not really any way to adapt that, so we've gone for the choppy. But apart from that, I'm going to move on to the other sides of these. We've done the left-hand side and the doors and the rear quarter panels, and we'll move on to the right-hand side, get the right-hand side done, then hopefully get them in the car and sorted.
we have it, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, the GT3 project is complete. So let's run through spec of the system, and then later on we're going to sit in the car and listen to the system so you guys can hear how incredible this car now sounds. So before we get too involved on spec, let's go through what our client was after. This is a returning client of ours, done multiple cars for him, and now it is GT3 time, which is an incredible car amongst an incredible collection. But the system and what he was after on this car was, the main problem with this car was, and if you own one you know about this, the rattles, the noise. Obviously the car is a noisy car, it's supposed to be a noisy car with the engine and everything. However, the unwanted noise is the problem. The engine noise is fantastic and great, however the road noise is stupid in these cars. Even just driving it around our unit here, the noise you get just from like just little stones and stuff inside that wheel arch is absolutely bonkers. They're one of the noisiest cars for that. And you even notice it just driving it around here. So even on the road, and I've driven one of these quite a lot, the noise of them is just absolutely phenomenal. So anyway, that was one of his big problems with the car, the kind of unwanted noise from the rest of it. So that was one big thing that our client kind of wanted to reduce, and we'll go through how we're going to fix that, or you've seen already how that's been fixed, but we'll go through that in a minute. And the next thing is then wanted a bit of an overhaul of the sound system. So this car had the original Bose sound system from factory, but he was obviously having those unwanted rattles, but also wasn't really too happy with kind of the clarity, especially in comparison to some of the other systems that we've done in previous cars for him. So once you've had a system, it's kind of one of those things that you kind of just get used to it and you need it in other cars. But the Bose system has been completely removed. So let's run you through now the spec of the system. So obviously you've seen the team, JP going through on this install how he's done it, but the system itself is a full stealth look. Client on this car didn't want a designated sub in the vehicle. We've made some compromises and we've also made some additions to kind of some of the other options that we do. And this is where systems are fully customizable to how you want your car. So this client didn't want to see a thing. That's exactly what we've done. There's not one controller in here, there's no nothing. It literally gets in, turn the key, go, and it just sounds better than what the Bose system did. So this car, there's no designated location for a sub, but if you were looking to add a sub, basically you've got a lot of space back here. So this whole shelf area, we can do some really cool options with custom work down here to build a sub, not take up too much space, but that's kind of the normal area that we go to. But there's quite a few different ways of doing a sub in the vehicle. If this client in the future may go for that, and you might see that video if he does, but you also can do that all at once. So when you listen to the system, I've already done the tuning and listened to it as well. It does need a sub, in personal opinion. Without a sub, a door speaker, a mid-bass driver and a door can never ever deliver what a sub can deliver. So it's also at the same time, it sounds lovely as it is. It's a huge improvement for where Bose was. So it's down to personal preference, client's choice at the end of the day to go down that for that particular car. And I don't blame him. It's a beautiful car, beautiful interior, and wanted to keep it as it was. So that's fine. And bear in mind, guys, in other vehicles, this client has had subs fitted, and on this car he's decided not to, and other cars he will decide to. And that is where the beauty of audio and the beauty of also being able to listen to a client and understand what they want for that particular car and deliver on that is where it comes into play. So client wanted stock look, so we've gone for the Audison Voce tweeter, Audison Voce mid-range down in the door location. So you'll see the grille that's down here. This is actually two speakers. You've got a mid-bass driver and you've also got a mid-range location here. So this is the 3-inch Audison Voce, but then on the mid-bass driver, what we've done, because we knew we weren't doing a designated sub, what we've actually done is added in the Audison Prima 8-inch mid-bass driver. And the reason we've used that mid-bass driver, in terms of a price point as such, it's not as high spec as like Thesis or Voce, but the reason why we've used that on this particular occasion is to get a little bit more mid-bass into the vehicle. You're never going to reproduce what a sub can give you. However, having that larger speaker is allowing more air movement and giving a slightly deeper sound at the front end of the car, because we're compensating of not having a sub. So that is the Audison Prima mid-bass driver in here. Obviously all of these speakers are using our custom 3D printed adapters, which means the whole system is fully reversible, which is really important. And also the system can also go into kind of OEM locations, so there's no chopping or anything like that when we do an install. As you guys probably saw, as JP probably gone through with you already in today's video, as you've seen, is the level of sound deadening that we've done on this vehicle. Obviously one of the huge problems for this client, and if you own one, you know this has the same problem. The noise is absolutely ridiculous for unwanted noise. That is now completely reduced. We have fully sound deadened the entire vehicle. I've driven, like I said, I've driven these quite a lot, and I drove this car on client's request to basically listen to the noise difference after doing the full sound deadening. Huge, honestly, night and day, like absolutely bonkers difference. And those rattles and all those things that were horrible about the car before are now fixed. So it's a stupid amount difference. There's no other way to describe it. It's just absolutely bonkers when we do the work to what level we've done to. So obviously acoustically deadening the vehicle. So we're using the Skinz 3mm as a product, but the product is important, but not the install is actually far more important. When we've done the install, as you've seen in today's video, the intricate details that the team go through to cut round every single nut, bolt, screw, factory fixing is the important bit. So when that happens, what it means is that when someone removes that door card, they see the level of work and they go, that person actually cared and paid attention to the level of detail that when they were working. It's not just slapped in randomly. This is all professionally installed, and this is the big difference. Yes, we take a lot longer. Yes, we're not the cheapest. I don't ever want to be. I'd rather do good work and less of it. It's much more important to me to keep that quality in the building. When a car comes in, we know that the level is the level, and the client knows that as well, and that is how we work. So the sound deadening work has obviously been, as you've seen, completely treated in this vehicle. You've got everything from tunnel done, you've got floor done, roof, every inch of the car's been done. And we've also, there's a few rattles coming from behind the top end of that dashboard, so we've also corrected some of them. So yeah, literally every inch of this thing's been sound deadened, but the difference is huge. And we've also removed, and this is all done in-house again, actually had the car up on the ramp, remove the wheels, and then actually sound deaden the wheel arches as well to get some of that road noise down and those unwanted noises again reduced from the vehicle. But it's like driving a completely different car. I've driven, like I said, I've driven a few of them, and where I drove this one in comparison to those others, huge difference. So that is a big thing with the sound deadening. It does add weight to the car, but in terms of like driving or tracking the car, honestly, it's not much at all. It's like carrying a passenger with you at an absolute max. Probably on this car, less than that actually, to be fair. Reason is because of the products that we're using. We've actually removed the factory Bose amplifier, replaced that with a Audison Forza amplifier. And the cool thing about this is we've actually kept the optical line. So on the Bose system from factory PCM system, that goes through optical system into the factory amplifier. What we've done is used a Zen module, which basically allows us to take that signal via optical into our optical input onto the input board on the Audison Forza, creating a full optical link, and then high level from amplifier out to speakers. In essence, what that means in kind of layman's language is it sounds incredible. The signal is good. The signal is as clean as we're possibly going to get. However, the factory unit still has lots of issues. That is all corrected via the DSP system because we have the DSP in the car. What a DSP is, it basically gives us control and ability to set up a car how we want it and correct issues that are outputting from the factory head unit. Like I said earlier on, the client wanted to get in the car, jump in the car, and it sound better than the Bose system, but not have to do anything different. It's exactly achieved by using digital integration via optical kits and Forza integration into cars like we have here, where you don't want to change the factory head unit. You want to use that, but you need to still correct the factory issues that are coming out of that head unit in terms of you want basically as linear curve as possible coming out of the factory unit, and it's not at the moment. It wasn't before. And basically wherever the spikes and troughs are of the kind of factory equalization where they've increased frequencies, decreased frequencies, cut frequency out, whatever they've done, we can pick that up, correct it, and give us a linear curve to work with when we are then applying the equalization that we want to create a perfect car for our client. So that is basically a quick run through of the front end. We've then also done the rear speakers on this car, and this is really important because even though it's still a tight cabin, I love doing rear speakers because it gives you that kind of surround sound effect, if you would, but it allows that rear feel to come in. And when you've got songs that have a lot of transfer of audio front to back as such, it gives you that ability to be able to hear that nicely. So we've used the 3-inch and tweeter into the rear locations, OEM locations, custom adapters again, allowing everything to be fully reversible. But the GT3 sounds absolutely bonkers now. So what we're going to be doing, obviously you've seen the install, you've had the run through of all the parts, but now let's listen to the system. We'll jump inside it. I'm going to sit in the passenger seat. You're going to have a new microphone set up on the driver's seat so you can hear the listening position, because we've time aligned everything to listening position on driver's side. So without further ado, guys, let's jump into the listening part. Ladies and gentlemen, we are now inside the Porsche GT3. Beside me in the driver's seat, you've got your new microphone set up because this whole system is all time aligned via part of the DSP system that we've done, all for the driver's seat. So I'm going to relax and enjoy the system from my passenger seat here, and we're just going to basically showcase some of the music, and you guys are going to be able to experience the system with me. So enjoy, guys. Bear in mind, this system has no sub.
I know it's so frustrating. Can't take yourself out the equation. Can't wait longer than your own patience. Can't wait longer than your own patience. Like you're here waiting until you're not. Can't remember what you forgot. You can't take yourself out the equation. Life's funny like that. You lose one thing, get another one back. You thought you knew, but it wasn't no fact. No, your whole life, but it was all an act. There's no meaning, but like in the best of ways, you could go 100 days without really doing anything and still have the right to say.
So I still want it to go a little bit lower, but the clarity, the mid-bass response, incredible.
Oh, it's my own damn fault that I've fallen for you. We haven't even talked, still I'm obsessed with you. Was it your milky eyes or your skin? I don't know. Doesn't matter anyway, 'cause I'm never letting you go. I know it's gonna
From the Bose system that was in here, it's just absolutely transformed. And you can't see a thing. It's all hidden.
You tell him he's all you see. Tell him you got his keys, 'cause you thought he needed them, but he's not coming back again. So he's gone, leaving then. You won't see him again. It was convenient, but you won't be staying friends. And you know that, sweetie, you know that. Think you knew it before, but you just ignored that. So now you won't take backs, but there's no refunds here. So you sorta hurt, it makes you see clear that you were just lost. But now you found, and you realize it wasn't at all like what you created in your mind. It wasn't even nice. You wasted all your time. You didn't even like him in real life. He said he thought it would be nice if we went for a ride in his dad's Jaguar. Swept up in the moment, sitting in his car.
Literally just get lost in that. It is absolutely breathtaking in here. And considering, and every car has its own kind of unique characteristics in in what it can achieve and also what our client wants for the system. But having no sub in the car, and personal preference, it still needs one. However, absolutely rocks in here. It is breathtaking. It is, you literally, like, you just get lost in it. I kind of had to pause there a minute and come back to the fact that I'm filming the YouTube video. Like, you just get lost in it. There's no other way to describe it, and that's a sign of a professionally, properly installed system. I think this is, I don't know how, I can't remember what car we're on for this client now, but it's a case of having returning clients like this one, multiple vehicles that we're doing our workshop facilities at the moment. I believe we've got, I think, 6 Ferraris being done in the workshop right now. Some incredible cars. We've had a Lamborghini Eurosleeve this morning. We've had a huge meeting with a big company as well to support their new concept that they're building. So that will probably come in later on. But yeah, just some incredible projects going on at the moment, and this GT3 is another one added to our collection. So fabulous difference in audio quality and audio system in the car, but also like I think I mentioned earlier in today's video, the road noise reduction and those unwanted rattles and those unwanted noises that you had from the GT3 before, the new shape Porsche generation, the 992s. I've had 3 inquiries this morning for 992s with rattles and problems like that. So they're very common for it, and we can fix it. So if your main dealership is struggling to fix the problem for you, feel free to get in touch and we can do our magic that we do. So thank you so much for watching. I really hope you've enjoyed today's video on the Porsche GT3 full sound system makeover and full sound deadening on the vehicle as well. So thank you once again for watching. Love you always. See you on the next one.